put it here. As usual, I need to follow on my computer as well and change things. So please bear with me. I hope to also upload a proper thumbnail. We'll see about that. Complete, yes. Okay. And we have first people here. Hello, everyone. Hi, Nicholas. Glad to have you here. You finally caught a live stream. Hi, B-Man. Hi, Dositos. Hope you guys are, and hi, Jeremy, and Caleb, and how did the kids Santidaya comic stone Dositos? Okay, there's a lot of you instantly here. Okay. When did this get to 24 people? So I look like a typical his user. What's a his? Yeah, this cat is called Chaslav. It's named after a cat of a very good friend of mine, Daniela, and her departed kitty looked pretty much like this doorstopper. So, hi, Lord Stanhope. Está buen. Thanks, Francis. I need to upload a proper thumbnail for this. Okay, there we go. And let's check the chat. Dobro večer, Daja. A bit of a prayer request from me. Please pray for my sister Milica. She was diagnosed with COVID today, and she's feeling fine and everything, but she got it at the most inopportune of times. So just a short... Yeah, it's the Bible Illustrated guy. Or as everyone keeps saying, face reveal, finally. Hi, Tina. Tina, you should be on the Patreon names list, but I will check this right away. I don't want to have you left out, but you should be on the list. One moment, please. It's Great Wednesday for us, so in the Orthodox Church. So if you're not Orthodox, it is a big day for us. What was the Cradle Orthodox? I always check the last. Tina, it seems that your name is not on the list, so thank you for pointing this out. I'll put it here right away, just in case that I don't forget. Okay, thank you for pointing it out. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Anselmo, and thanks everybody for your prayers. Hi, Rasko. Hvala, Jovana. Hvala. Eastern Orthodox monk. Can a confirmed Antiochian Orthodox take communion at a Russian Orthodox church or because of the recent schism? I think you should be, because as far as I know, there is no schism between the Antiochian and Russian Orthodox churches. So you should be able to do so. Good evening, Alexei. Limited wisdom. Will we ever get a Bojan illustrated series? No, because it will be very uneventful. Kurt Friends, what do you think of the miracle of light in Jerusalem? Thank God for it. I love it, but I think it tends to get a tad weaponized in online discourse, which is annoying. It's a great miracle of God. It should be kept at that level. Tyler Whaley, your convertitis video hit me on a personal level. Well, I made it on my personal experience, you know, so it wasn't like, oh, look what these guys are doing. It was, look what this guy has been doing. So That's from, let me put it this way so that at least I can look in camera a little bit. Yeah, I think this is better. Thank you, Rich. Thank you. Michael Norton. What is this live stream about? Nothing special. I just simply log in, you guys talk, we talk, and I generally don't have themes for live streams, at least as of yet. So you guys can talk about anything and I'll comment or talk or whatever. Caleb X, what is your opinion on the Coptic Orthodox Church? Well, you know, the schism is regrettable, but I consider it is the most martyred church in modern times. Modern as in current times, not as in like last 100 or 200 years, even though I know you guys never had it easy since forever. So, Marco Nicolau, did you go to seminary? No, I finished law school. Dobar dan, Mira. Kurt Front, what is the name of the two-dimensional cat? It's Chaslav. Spirit of Modernity. Bojan, can you please show us your icon corner? Let me try, because this includes. Let me try. Okay. There it is. It is a bit of a mess right now because I'm moving soon. By the way, these icons were painted by me, not in the icon corner, but this one of Saint Thomas, the Apostle. This isn't an icon. These aren't icons, but I still painted them. These were practices for iconography class. And finally, this Eucharistic seraph. And that's it. I'm trying to avoid all the mess in my room, so please excuse that. Okay. And back to Lil Ol Me. I'm curious, which jurisdiction do you regularly attend? Well, Serbian, because I live in Serbia, I'm Serbian Orthodox and so on. We have a Greek church and a Russian church in Belgrade, but I don't think, I have maybe went to the Russian church twice and Greek church never. No reason, I simply didn't, so. Thank you, Rich. Mike Williams, your English is very good. How did you learn? It was mostly through video games, so I would play a lot of video games with a dictionary in my lap, and over time I learned it with chatting over internet, music, videos, films, and so on. So, self-taught. Thank you, Silvia. Alexei Dosevsky, quick question. How do you say icon corner in South Slavic, aka naš jezik? Ne znam. Tamo gde stoje ikone, you know, where the icons are. I don't think we have a word for it in English. Some Russian inspired is krasni ugao, but I'm not sure if our priests would know what that means, so. I swear you showed us before in a past. I don't think I've ever showed you in a live stream. Maybe I did. The Reiki report. At first I thought it was a real cat. He has a video in which he gave a tour of his icon corner. Yeah. What I love about Chaslav is that I have mentioned this before, but people think that it's a real cat when they initially enter. And then they realize that there's a glitch in the matrix, like there's something off. There's uncanny valley regarding him, like he failed to load properly. So I love him. You know, I like unsettling stuff. Was about to ask if they still count if you paint the icons themselves. Yes, they count. I mean, they're not high quality or anything, but they do still count. Tsiriba Tsisirubu. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Hello, I'm a fresh viewer of you. Where are you from? Serbia, maybe. Yes, I live in Belgrade. From where did you purchase the other icons that are not painted by you? I commissioned them from 2 friends of mine. All those on the upper part are all hand painted except the crucifix that was purchased, and it's not hand painted. Other are. I would always suggest people not to buy like 50 icons, but if at all possible, to save money and buy actual painted icons. Trust me, guys, it is better to have an actual work of art, that supports the artist, that actually contributes to the beauty, as opposed to simply copying and printing it on wood. For an icon, a print is perfectly fine, but again, do not buy a bajillion of icons. Get the real thing, if at all possible. Of course, I know that people live in different parts of the world. Icons can get very pricey, but they don't necessarily have to be. You have YouTube Premium. Yes, my old shame. I have YouTube Premium. I can't stand the ads, and I don't want to use the ad blocker, so I have chosen the path less traveled. Is there anything one needs to do to change churches to attend? My fiance currently attends in Indonesia, but we will eventually attending mine here in the US. Actually, I do not know about that. That is something you have to discuss with the priest, but because they might have different rules regarding that. In any case, a priest should know who the person who is approaching the communion is. Kid Arcane. Hello, Mr. Boyan, sir. Hello, Mr. Arcane, sir. Sandro Ellie, Saad. Thank you, man, and thank you, Haley. Sandro asks, my favorite character from the Heroes franchise, what advice do you have for someone with a vocation? Follow it through and keep praying God to help you in your vocation. I mean, a lot of heartache on my part would have been prevented if I simply said, Lord, please help me. Without you, I cannot do anything. It is something that we forget all of the time, but by we, I mean I. So I'm projecting heavily here. So, Caleb, thank you, Caleb. Thank you so much. And hi, John. Tyler, what should I do if I cannot attend Mass for 2 or so weeks? It is a difficult question. It is sort of established in Orthodox Church that you can watch a live stream, realizing full well that it is not the full thing. A traditional way to do it is to read the Typica service, which is like sort of what in the Catholic Church would be called a dry mass without communion, missa secca. So you basically read the liturgy at home without the priest's parts. It is especially arranged. So if you want to do this, do not simply take text of the liturgy and simply omit what the priest says, but actually find the Typica service. You can watch a live stream. You guys in the Catholic Church do spiritual communions. We don't do that in the Orthodox Church. That's it. I think that the best way you can do it, at least, is to spend that time that you would be spending in the church and going to church and coming back to church in prayer, or some at least some spiritual reading, but prayer is paramount. That is my advice for you. Again, double check it with somebody else. Attending from Greece. Hi, I haven't seen one of your streams for a while. There's a set number of videos at which I do live streams. For every 8 to 10 videos I post on the main channel, I do a live stream. The reason for this is I do not want to turn this into a live streaming channel. live streams are incredibly fun. People like them. And thank you, John, for your super chat. Super chats are great and everything. But they do not require actual effort from my side. And once the live stream ends, very few people actually watch them. I want that things that I make to have some sort of lasting value. I mean, of course, how valuable it is very much up to for debate. But in general, I would prefer if this stays primarily an illustrated channel. So. Christopher Anderson, do you think that Patriarch Porphyry will be a good leader for the Serbian Church? I have made a video on my secondary channel. If you guys don't know about it, it's Bible Illustrated Hands. The avatar is similar to this one on the main channel. I have made a video about Patriarch Porphyrius, and yes, I am absolutely certain that he was the best choice. I mean, sometimes it's a bit unclear what the Holy Spirit intended with certain of his picks, but this time I'm absolutely certain. I think that he's the man for all seasons. Limited Wisdom, have you ever been to other Eastern European countries? Well, I've been to Greece. I passed through Macedonia, North Macedonia. Been to Montenegro a couple of times, but if you live here, you don't really consider Montenegro to be much of a, Eastern European country. I've been to Croatia once for some, extended stay, not just passing through. I have never been to Romania or Bulgaria. Did I leave out a country? And I visited Albania for a very short time. And again, depending on how you see the situation, I have been on Kosovo. But again, that's part of Serbia. Miro, I have a question about the different Orthodox churches that are not in communion with each other. I was raised Orthodox, but even if there is one Orthodox church, yes. This is something that we confess in the Creed. I believe in one church. So there is one church, one Orthodox church. And yes, while parts of them can get into petty squabbles, that is still one church. Again, John, thank you so much for your super chat. Sunny Meadow, do you play any other RPG game similar to D&D? I haven't played any live action in person for a long time. The one that I played the most was Warhammer role-playing fantasy game, so not 40k, which most people know. As far as video games, I play Adam, Ancient Domains of Mystery, which is a very difficult roguelike. I think I have been playing it on and off for 10 years. I never passed the game. I doubt I ever will. I hate ultimate doppelgangers. I hate them so much. There's no way you can defeat them, and that's it. Sorry. There's this thing with the chat that it scrolls you to the bottom, which I hate. Hi, Subdeacon Cosmos. Nice to have you here. There's an upper rank than me here. John, Bojan, where did you get the crucifix anyway? Well, that nearly ended up in a disaster. I got it in my parish church. I think that they probably have those available as it is. So. Sandro, do I think that the Orthodox and Catholic Church can reunite? And what do you think of the Protestants? Both Roman Catholics and Eastern Orthodox reject the 5 solas. Honestly, I do not think that we can ever reunite with the Catholics, because one side really needs to admit that they were in the wrong, and I can't see any side actually doing that. I have often seen things like, yeah, but filioque is really about the Spirit proceeding through the Son and not from the Son. But when you take like the Catechism of the Catholic Church, you really see that it is not what is meant by filioque. So I simply don't see it happening. As for Protestants, I really admire their zeal, with preaching the Word of God, which is something that us Orthodox can really aspire to. I sort of sometimes have a feeling that the lack of such zeal in contemporary Orthodox Church is due to us constantly being under some ideology that is persecuting Christians, generally Islam or communism. So we'll have yet to see how that evangelical spirit proceeds with the Orthodox Church. Thank you, Record Report. I actually got my hair cut 2 days ago. It was much longer. So, Marco Nicolau, where did you buy that censer that has chains? I bought it in Vienna in some buy-side store. I mean, it's neutral. It does not have any religious symbols, and I think I've only used it 3 times. The novelty wears off very fast, so... Gijibulab, what motivated you to start making content for English-speaking audiences? I'm a big fan from America. Initially it was to promote Bible reading through YouTube channel. There's Trisagian Films podcast. I was recently on there, and I go into detail there. But in short, I wanted to popularize Bible reading among the Orthodox primarily. So I started illustrating the Bible, and then I made a YouTube channel with the intent of having priest sermons on different verses. But then it turned out that my series, Pencils and Prayer Ropes, got way more popular than the sermons. So that is how it developed. And why English? Wider reach. That's about it. More people can watch than if I made it in Serbian. So. Max, what about using Brave browser with built-in ad blocker? I do not want to deprive YouTubers of their revenue. That's the thing. I'm a YouTuber. I put a lot of time, heart, will, and everything, and I simply do not want to use any form of an ad blocker. That's the thing. Heather Green, is there some nuance to the quote and the title of a rock song, God Hates a Coward? Yes. I mean, a coward will renounce Christ immediately, and there are a couple of saints who did renounce Christ and then fought that cowardice a lot. These were generally, from what there's a couple of such saints. They were Greeks. And their stories played out similarly, like they renounce Christ, then they become a Muslim, then they feel guilty, then they try to renounce Islam, but then again they renounce Christ again, and then a couple of times they finally push it through. If you're brave, nothing can stand against you, so I don't think that God hates anyone. But there is I think that cowardice is one of those traits that God does hate, but not person as themselves. Why do some clog the habab? Why do so many saints in icons have unnaturally long necks and bent heads? I never actually noticed that they have bent heads. Maybe they have tall foreheads, which you may interpret as bent head. But thank you, America. Okay, I'll get to your question really quick. So it's a stylistic choice because it was simply based on. It was simply. There's a lot of symbolism in Orthodox iconography, so it is in a way to showcase how close they are to heaven, in a way. But I would advise against reading too much into symbology of an icon. It's simply symbolically presented like that because the intent of the icon is the intent of the icon is to portray, and why they are not realistic, is that we are not venerating an ordinary human, but one transfigured by God. So I hope that answered a question somehow. Kilobags. I was thinking of going to Oxford to study theology. Do you think Oxford would be a good university for someone who's trying to be a theologian? To be quite honest, I do not know. But if you want to be an Orthodox theologian, I would suggest a seminary or something like that. Sandro, what do you think of people who say that church hymns are boring? How about modernizing them? No. They're not meant to entertain you. Like, they're there to introduce you into the prayerful spirit. If people find them boring, it's more than probable that they're not really that much into prayer. Like, if you want to go to church to get entertained, you will want the same thing out of prayer. And if you want the same thing out of prayer, that's not prayer. So. Miruna Joanna Belko, please do a video about Saint Stephen Milutin. No, you know why I don't want to make a video about that. Mark Ranger. Hi Bojan, your work always gets shared widely on JDar's Discord and they love your videos. Would you ever stream together? Why not? I'm open for it. Biclicletelesidas. I butchered that, so sorry. God bless you, Bojan. Thank you for answering my silly little questions. Your answer was very charming as well. Blessings to you and your family from a shameful papist Latin American. And blessings to you from this Orthodox random fat guy in Serbia. Bojan, excuse me, is this any Q&A live stream? This live stream is anything we want it to be, but generally it becomes a Q&A live stream. So I never name them Q&A live streams, but it is implied that they are. So. Matthew, wait, so you can just read the liturgy? No, that's precisely, I mean, I assume that you have wrote this before I said that caveat. Again, Google Typica service, Typic, I messed it up. Google Typica service. So. The Waller. Hello from a church warden from Sweden. Wow. One moment. We have an actual Kirkogrim here. Sorry, I had to Google it up. I know there's a thing about it. Nice to have you here, Jakub. Playman A. Hey, Bojan, what country are you based in? Serbia. And why is your English so colloquial and good? Again, video games and dictionaries. And hello, Stanislav from Serbia. Keito, Bojan, since you're an artist, have you ever heard of illuminated manuscripts? Yes, I did. There are a couple of drawings that I've based on them. I love them so much. They're my like. They're probably one of the most beautiful things humans have ever produced, in my very humble opinion. So. Marco, again with the chain sensor, again in Vienna. Some totally random shop. Hey Bojan, if I fast the entire fast, but we cannot go to communion, what is the best thing to do? Okay, double check with your priest. But what I would do, after double checking it with my priest and my spiritual father, is to read the pre-communion prayers, the thanksgiving after communion, and I'm pretty sure that the Lord would not deprive you of the grace of communion despite the fact that you cannot actually partake of the communion. I do realize that this is a highly irregular situation, but we simply do what we can. And I think that a lot of this boils down similar to the discussion whether it's better to have communion often or rarely. And I do not think that the Lord lets those who have communion rarely do because they think themselves unworthy, lets them have less grace or anything. So just know that the Lord won't leave you hanging because of these external circumstances. Nicholas Papanastasio, I hope I sort of managed that. Are you a theologian? No, I finished law. I'm a jurist. And a very bad one. I actually hate calling myself that in professional settings because all sorts of very faulty assumptions pop up when I say that. Plamen A, you'd love Bulgaria. You're welcome to see it. I know. I hope to see it one day. George G. Bojan, how do you feel about interfaith marriage? Very risky. Very, very risky. Because, of course, that every religion will teach that their religion is the only true one. And every religion will try to get the kids of that marriage into their own religion. And then all hell will break loose. So if both parents take their religion seriously, I cannot see that marriage working, to be quite honest. So. Okay, sorry, trying to. Matthew, how did monks create the fasting rules? This is something that I hear mentioned all of the time, but I never really investigated it. But I think that the fasting rules of the Orthodox Church really weren't nailed down at least until 12th century. That's all about. Fasting for majority of Christian history was primarily not eating or drinking anything until sunset, with a lot of variance of what you could eat after sunset. At least in the life of Saint Spiridon, it's explicitly said that he offered someone pork during Lent, I believe, because at Kerkira at that time it was custom to eat anything after sunset. So, hvala Mira. Rini, when will I get married? When I find the one. Keisha Bray, thoughts on Jay Dyer? I wish I'd have at least half of his brain, Hi, runes. Somebody actually has the runes in their username, and I'm not reading that. I'm sorry. George's journal. I have so much Orthodox material and want to read it all, but I'm overwhelmed. Noob mistake. What should I focus on at first? Orthodox Study Bible and my prayer roll for now. Yes. Never neglect prayer. Never, 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 never. What do I think about biblical fan fiction, such Paradise Lost or Divine Comedy, and are there Orthodox versions of these? Yes, the tall house. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. I think these are fine. I mean, nothing wrong. I mean, to be quite honest, I never read Paradise Lost, and I've only read Inferno from the Divine Comedy, and then only when I was in high school. I really should come back to it and read the whole thing. As far as Orthodox versions, none come to mind. There might be something similar, but none of it really comes to mind. Journey with Joa. Hello from Serbia. Sir Debsalot, my first confession is today. God bless you for your first confession. Djanis, dobro veče, ja sam Grk i učim srpski. Odličan ti je srpski. Thank you so much for your comments. Ben Yu, what's your take on the Eastern Catholic churches? It is a sort of controversial question for us living in ye old world, because we generally do not have a very high opinion of Eastern Catholics because of the way they were converted to Catholicism, which is sort of like, yeah, sure, you can keep your rights but still become Catholic, and also there's food in for you, so, you know, some very underhanded tactics were at play. When you see an Eastern Catholic church, for example, in the US, that is a far cry, you know, it is simply a different flair of Catholicism, but there's a lot of historic baggage attached to it in Europe, for example. So, Journey with John, can you talk more about uncanonized saints or local saints veneration? Well, don't know what to say. I regularly pray to Chiune Sugihara. He was an Orthodox Japanese diplomat who saved a lot of people from Holocaust during the Second World War. I commissioned an icon of him. I'm pretty sure that he's a saint, but again, he is simply not canonized. And of course, the most famous example currently is Seraphim Rose, which is like universally, and Ephraim of Arizona. So, not much to say about it, you know. If there's someone you really think is a saint, pray to him or her. I remember that some woman once asked a Greek bishop, can I pray to my departed grandmother, even if she's not a saint, and at least canonized saint? And the bishop replied, God will make her a saint for you. So I think that's a beautiful reply. So, Emma Morton, can you make a video on Saint Michael the Archangel, please? Yes, I can. As I said, I plan to make a reliquary video on practically all of the saints, but simply lack of time. Hi, Gabriel R. Hi, Metanoia. John Thompson, Boyan, I have a question. In what respect is Christ of two natures? I've been trying to better understand the fourth. Well, it means that Christ is completely human. He has everything that pertains to our human nature except sin. So that means that he is God, but he's also a human being. He has a human body. He has a human mind. So, and he has a human soul. So it's not like that he's simply a body that's possessed by divinity, you know. He is 100% human and God, you know. He is not human at the expense of divinity, nor is he divine at the expense of humanity. So it's not, you know, sometimes I see that people word this very poorly, like, well, Jesus is 50% God and 50% human. No, he is 100% both. However, because sin essentially isn't in our nature and was never intended to be, he is actually the true human, not us. We're faulty, all of us are faulty versions of humans, but he is not, you know. Alexei Tusevsky, I think you mentioned Dennis Prager in one of your videos. What do you think about him and his channel PragerU? I like Prager a lot, to be quite honest. That does not mean that I endorse all of his views. I very often quote him because he's, I think, practicing Jew. He says, I would much rather send my kids to Catholic seminary because I know that they will become Catholics, as opposed to sending them to university not knowing that they will become hardcore leftists. I quote that often to my friends a lot. And I tend to like a lot of PragerU's videos. Some of them, no. There was one that was like presenting colonialism as this high point of human culture. And okay, there are very good sides to colonialism, but it wasn't a charity move. Like, yeah. I mean, there is a reason why so much bad baggage is associated with colonialism. So, Manta, thoughts on Pope Francis recommending everyone to read The Way of a Pilgrim? Well, it's because he's read it. Because every person who ever reads The Way of the Pilgrim recommends everyone else The Way of the Pilgrim. Thank you, Sando. Dušan Blešić, hello Bojan, I want to enroll a seminary, but can you tell me something? I'm sorry, I cannot because I never entered a seminary and I don't know how are they different. Quick question, so why didn't you convert to Islam? I was watching your Draw My Life video. I didn't find it convincing. When I read the Gospels, I was amazed at the wisdom that I encountered there. I read the Quran much later, and there are very nice things in Quran, but I never had that like wow moment with Quran, like not one. Like nice things. I'm not one of those Christians who uses every opportunity when Islam is mentioned to, you know, to bash it. I do admit good sides of Islam, but you know, it's sort of good for society, but spiritually, no. Okay. Anthony H., have you ever been to a Coptic church? Not as of yet. William Porter. Hello, Boyan. Greetings from Scotland. I'm an Anglican, and I wonder if you could detail the relationship with Orthodoxy and Anglicanism. You know, at one point, the Orthodox and Anglicans were this close to reuniting that they were actually dissuading Anglicans from converting to Orthodoxy because it was practically a sealed deal. That did not happen. I think that a saint of Serbian Church, Saint Nikolić Velimirović, especially had a great relationship with Anglican Church, and the Anglican Church in Serbia is remembered so fondly that the Anglicans are allowed to serve in the Patriarchal Chapel of St. Simeon the Mirgasher in our church for their Christmas on December 25th, because we are so thankful that they helped us during the, I think, World War I, maybe even World War II, with our seminarians. They housed them in Britain, and that thankfulness continues to this day. However, as you're probably aware, the recent changes in the Anglican communion as regards to gay marriage, female ordination, I can't see any sort of reunification happening anytime soon. So. Yeah, John, Father John Trenham, what a man. Nicholas Papanistau, could you show to us your latest drawing? I actually can't. I would have to stand up, but I'll show you the current one, which I'm currently drawing, which is John 1 something, which basically says that Philip the Apostle was from the same city as Peter and Andrew, and this is the city. So you'll see it soon. America, great videos. Can you explain how I, as a Southern Baptist, can understand all the different Orthodox churches in the US and which to experience and try? Because Baptist churches are so different from Orthodox churches, I would think that your experience of different Orthodox churches would be basically the same. It will be overwhelming. Um, Once you get into Orthodoxy, you will start noticing some differences, which are generally very petite. Some churches, like Slavic ones, have bigger iconostasises. The ones on the Antiochian and Greek side tend to have simplified ones. Pews are sort of a confusing issue because oftentimes Orthodox would buy a Protestant or Catholic church and leave the pews in. So there's actually very little difference between them. There are some minute liturgical differences, maybe some differences in iconography. Georgian churches especially have a very distinct style in their iconography, which is very beautiful in my opinion. So the first church you go to, regardless which jurisdiction it is the experience of Orthodoxy that you will get. So Sebastian Soderquist. Hello, Bojan. I seem to remember that you have visited Sweden, Uppsala, I think. Did you have time to visit any of our churches during your visit? I was to Gävle. I was visiting Ladmateriet. There was a church there. Sadly, it was always closed It was always closed after the conferences that I had to attend, even if I really wanted to actually check it out. Later on, we visited Stockholm, but it was really late at night, and we only had like 2 hours. And I had to stick with the group, so I really could not check out any churches, even if I really, really, really wanted to. So I do plan to return someday. So the autarky. Was the Convertitis videotheque on me? No, it was basically me. But yeah, Convertitis is simply a phase that practically all of Orthodox go to when they start practicing their religion. You can be a cradle Orthodox and go through convertitis. A lot of people are like asking, "Oh, is this person?" No, it's not a person. It's a phase, and that is why a lot of you have said, "Oh, I feel attacked on personal level." Yeah, that was my level too. But it mellows out eventually. So. Heather Green, how do you clean a wool prayer rope that has a few wooden beads? I do not know, but if you ever find out, Heather, if that's your real name, Heather, please let me know, because one of my first prayer rope was a wool prayer rope. It fell into a vigil lamp and it was rendered useless. So I think I still have it. I think that now I can only clean it with industrial strength soap or something. So, by the way, let me check the battery on. Okay, we have time. So. Oh, the altar kid donated zloty. Nice, thank you. Polish money, the Catholic money. Gabriel, when have you ever been to the Holy Church in Jerusalem at Easter and touched the Holy Fire? If yes, how did it feel? No and no. However, I will share a story from my sociology teacher, professor in high school. She's an atheist, and she did witness it, and she did show us pictures of her holding her hand against the candles and like nothing. And she said, like, well, I believe it is autosuggestion or something. Yeah, like when you walk into a pyre and with the power of autosuggestion, it does not harm you. Yeah, no. Matza Sahe, what do you think of Oriental Christians, Coptic, and so on? I have already answered that. I do not know if you heard the answer, but as I said, I believe it is the martyr church of modern age. I don't think that like a week passes before they get another martyr. So I look so healthy. I have a post-Lenten glow. I literally went to doctor today because I have this horrible persistent cough, which was caused by GERD, which was caused by stress. So McCoy Fleming, hello Bojan, happy Holy Week, and happy Holy Week to you and everybody else here. I came for the thumbnail, stayed for the enlightenment. Well, this isn't really a place where you'll find enlightenment, maybe some sort of low-key religious humor, and that's about it. So, and by the way, thank you, bold follower. Stanislav Burden, why when you are Serbian you have English sign in your icon corner or many English books? Because I also speak English and I can read in English and sometimes I order English books. That's about it. Thank you, Brian Koppel. Thank you for your kind words. Ciao, Srđane. By the way, which Srđan? Because I know a couple of Srđans, so just want to check if you're one of the Srđans that I know. McCoy Fleming, how can we celebrate Pascha during a lockdown? I'm away from churches and family. I have answered this question in shades, in different answers, but read the canon to Pascha, read some royal hours, read the Typica, pray the pre and after communion prayers. The Lord won't leave you. And I believe that the anguish you feel at being deprived of churches and family will multiply grace in this situation many times over, because I will have Pascha. I did have Pascha last year because I got a permit from a priest. And despite knowing better, I felt very guilty. You know, if I did not go, there wouldn't be an extra person who would fill in my place, you know. But still, the very fact that I could go when so many people were completely unable was very painful. So I sort of feel like a hypocrite to even give you such advice. If you have a regular contact with a priest, you should definitely ask him this. But it is very difficult. I wish I could help you more with this. I think that this is mostly up to Christ, you know. Like everything else in the end. So Scribe, Morrowind, Oblivion, or Skyrim? Skyrim. I never played Oblivion. Morrowind, you know, there are so many things to love about Morrowind, but that horrible inventory system where every weed looks the same as Didrik armor. Like, I like pretty inventories. It is left over from my Might and Magic days. And when I saw that Morrowind inventory, I was like, I can't. Sorry. GT Cunningham, do you have an opinion on Duolingo? I used it. I wasn't really amazed. I think that I think you will learn language much better if you actually watch with attention material in that language as opposed to Duolingo is, I think, great as a supplement, but as the main way to learn language, I think it is quite poor. Pozdrav iz Beograda, Petre. Petre, imaš na Trisagian Films podcast, imaš priču baš o tome. To mi je bila poslednja ili pretposlednja epizoda u kojoj sam ja bio. Pogledaj tu baš detaljno pričam o tome. Pa čisto da ne bismo sad gubili vreme. Can you think of any specific connections Jonah has with Saint Peter? I've been meditating on his name, Simon Bar Jonah, and the reference Jesus makes to Jonah. Thoughts? Well, both of them fled from the Lord. Jonah fled in order not to preach in Nineveh, and Peter rejected Christ. Both of them descended to hell, for it. Saint Peter descended to the hell of despair, and Jonah was literally swallowed by a huge sea monster. So I think that there is something there. However, I think that Saint Peter did a far, far better job at actual, preaching, because if you remember, Jonah really did not want those people to repent. He really wanted to have them have it. So, hi, Mark Ranger. Jakub, Bojan, do you think that the ecumenical efforts of the Pope and different Orthodox patriarchs are in vain? No, I don't think that they're in vain. They're in vain in the sense, if the important thing when discussing ecumenism is defining what you mean by it. If by ecumenism you mean wanting the churches to reunite, I think it is in vain. However, I do not think that those efforts are wasted, because we sort of needed to check and double check whether we could reunite. And I think that is where ecumenical dialogue was invaluable, because it showed that we really couldn't reunite, However, I do think that we should keep cordial relations with all faith communities. I think that is perfectly fine. So I do not think, and again, in era of modern secularism, I think that us banding together against some very dangerous secularist ideas is actually very useful. So again, it is a very complex subject, very, 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 very complex subject. Okay. Sorry. Thank you, Jakub. Oh, thank you, Play 42. Thank you so much. Salute. Christopher Anderson, do I write icons on commission? I could, I never did. However, I would advise you against this, because I'm not a professional iconographer. I still lack a lot of experience. Icon that I would commission would be, under heavy surveillance by my art teacher. I never actually painted an icon on actual wood. The icons that I showed at the beginning of Livestream are on hard cardboard. So if you would have a commission, it would be extremely risky what the end result would be. So. Second wind, is the Russian Orthodox Church in season with the other Orthodox Church? No, I think it is just with the ecumenical patriarchate and, I don't know, maybe Church of Greece. Matthew, how's Felicity doing? He's fine. I give him a lot of problems. Hello from Serbia, Mateus. He's from Brazil. Bog te blagoslavio. Spirit of modernity. Bojan, could you please clarify your view on the toll houses? Listen, I do believe that when we die, we are banded by demons and they accuse us of all different sins and so on. But the very notion that there are some layers to it and then you ascend and they accuse you, I have huge issues with the original vision of Theodora, where you need to justify yourself before demons, which is for me absolutely horrible. And that symbolic act of giving them gold, which symbolizes the prayers of the departed to the demons in order to let it pass, like, no, like, what's happening? Again, I do believe that they accuse us of all sorts of things and so on, but though that part, I'm simply flabbergasted that sometimes I feel like, how is not anyone not seeing what's wrong with this? Like, our prayers are directed to God to forgive sins, and I know that a lot of people are sort of entered this double think, yeah, well, that is what symbolizes, but you're giving money to demons as a toll, and as a symbol, it's a failure, that vision. And that is why I would prefer if we not call it toll houses, but particular judgment, because at the toll house you have to pay to pass, and what is the payment? Well, the prayers you get. And again, I know that nobody actually believes that our prayers are used as currency. I am not saying, but why would you use that as a symbol? You know, what is that symbolizing? I mean, that the prayers are useful, yes, but it creates a very problematic. Sometimes I feel like people don't actually read the original vision. They simply defend the toll houses, but they do not know some glaring problems with the original text, you know. But other than that, again, demons accusing us. And by the way, they lie. They are slanderers. There was this saint who was on his deathbed, and they could hear him saying, yes, I did that. No, I did not do that. No, yes, I did. No, I did not do that. So they're lied. They're slanderers. They're the accusers. To even think that they would accuse you, like, you know, I think I have pretty much covered all of that in my toll houses video, which again people do not watch. They simply get a couple of notions and they simply dismiss it, and then they quote what's not in there. Hello, Western Orthodox prayers and devotions. The Wicked Witch of the West. Nikolić Stanić, cancel yellow eggs. It is a running joke in Serbia that yellow Easter eggs never never turn out well, which is true. AJ, what's your favorite saint? Saint George, Saint Spiridon, my guardian angel, Saint John Chrysostom. Well, any angel, really. So. By the way, Western Orthodox prayers and devotions. I was laughing so much. There's this young girl in I think Republika Srpska, and she made a video. What things should every Orthodox have in their home? And like she's showcasing like things that you would have in an icon corner, like holy water icons, Bible, prayer, and suddenly she literally comes with this like crystal ball, and I start laughing. What is this? And then she sorts of opens it up, and it is actually a bread bowl, but it looks like a crystal ball. And like I see that video, and literally very soon I see a comment of yours. I found my crystal ball, and I said like, yeah, I've seen it. Lucas Callis. Hello, Boyan from New York, United States of the America. Do you like beer? If so, do you have a favorite? I recently joined an imported Pilsner from Prague and it was great. I absolutely hate beer, and I'm actually intolerant to it, and I'm actually very glad that I'm intolerant to it, because I would hate if I were, for example, intolerant to, for example, strawberries, because I really like strawberries and I really hate beer. I'm sorry. But if I had the option, I would love beer, but I do not. And a friend of mine was initially I thought I was allergic to beer, and a friend of mine really convinced me to to brave it like a man, and I actually drank half a can of beer. I cannot even begin to tell you how bad I felt afterwards, and there was no way for me to actually describe that feeling of anguish, because it was unlike everything I have ever felt, because it wasn't stomachache, it wasn't heartburn, it was a completely new sensation of suffering. So I think I'm intolerant to something in barley. I think, I'm not 100% sure. Once I had a really bad allergic reaction to barley, so I think it is something correlated. If I drink wheat-based beer, it's the same, so it might be something in the fermentation process. If I drink alcohol-free beer, I get the same. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I do not deserve this. Bye. I'm deleting the channel. Kid Arcane, I had read from a couple of sources that in the early church it was once a common thing for people to bring Eucharist home for private consumption. Why did this practice stop? Can you think about it for a second? Why did that stop? Can you imagine the ultimate possibilities for blasphemy if everybody took communion home? I'm absolutely certain that if it wasn't directly desecrated, with intention to desecrate it, people were using it, for example, for sorcery or something like that. I do realize the practice, and I would not mind it too much if people were okay, but people are not okay. You can't give them the Eucharist like that. I mean, this is something I will reserve in my mind. So I wanted to say something, but sometimes I wouldn't even trust priests with the Eucharist in the church. That's all I'm going to say. The first one was on Jesus not being a socialist, which went on to explain Jesus' parables as teachings of economics. Jesus wasn't anything politically, like, especially in modern divisions. So, well, we know, for example, that a lot of that the leftism tends to be very violent when it comes to Christianity. Tends. Thank you, James 1054. Welcome. Hello, Romia. Nice to have you here. Metanoia, opinions of Dr. Michael Heiser. I do not. I think I read this name for the first time in my life. So, George Jean, how are you, Queen? I'm not a queen. I'm a king. I'm an archduke. What's my favorite saint? Okay. Romia, any good books regarding Theotokos' life? I want to learn more about her and become more like her. It's kind of difficult to give birth to God right now, so. St. Kirsty, if anyone can point me out in a general direction. I think that St. Maximus the Confessor was actually the first saint who actually wrote on her life. I do not know if that is in print or even if it's translated in English, but if you can find it, I think it is the closest thing you can have on her life. However, one can wonder how much of that is actually based on facts, because St. Epiphanius, 3 centuries prior, said that they do not actually know how she ended her life. So they did not have many Orthodox and Catholics back then. Many Pardo. I'm Greek Orthodox and curious about what separates us from the Armenian Apostolic Church. The Church has undergone so much oppression over the years and want to know what the real issues are. I think that they believe in historianism. I might be very much wrong. There are some big Christological differences between us and them. So check that out. I do not know right here without Googling, so. Controversial question, but what I think of Kosovo. It is the heart of Serbia. What is done there by international communities is an international crime. Yes, I know that there were crimes committed against Albanians, but man, there are crimes committed against Serbs and our monasteries and worldwide cultural heritage, so. Panayotis V. Why did the Anglican and the Orthodox Church not end up in uniting? If I remember correctly, I think that the Bulgarian Church requested of the Anglican Communion to accept this view of the Eucharist, which was basically transubstantiation. And they sort of did not want to do that, and nothing came out of reunification, and then we went our separate ways. This is as far as I remember, but take it with a huge boulder of salt. So, Alexei, can I show you my ex tomorrow if you know what I mean? Yes, I will. In Serbia, we have this custom called lukovina or lukovica, where we where we boil the skin of onions, and then we put eggs in stockings with leaves, and we turn it, so we sort of make it into this egg sausage, and we boil it in this onion soup. So you get beautiful brown eggs with imprints of leaves. It is quite beautiful. I do not know why I didn't show you this last year. It simply didn't occur to me, but I will. Let me check the battery, sorry. 30%, very good. Okay. Internet hard case. Do you consider any religions evil? Be honest. Some brands of Hinduism, like those dark ones. Scientology. I do not even consider it a religion. I simply consider it a money laundering cult. Satanism in any shape or form. Occultism, especially like ceremonial magic and so. I wouldn't consider like astrology, divination, and those. I do think that these things come from Satan, but I would not consider them capital E evil. But like ceremonial magic all the way through. That's about it. Again, I do not think that anything but Christianity is good for your soul, with varying degrees of how it messes up with your soul, but. No, did my microphone? No, okay, it's good. Yes, I'm live, Kalias. Thank you, Austin Ladok. I'm glad that it was useful. William Cheney, do I fast? No, I'm slow. Yes, I fast. Thank you, Marina Mossa. Thank you so much. And Gabriel R., have a blessed Holy Week too. Noah Lindgren, hello Bojan, hello Noah. Luke the Orthodox Christian, this has been my first Pascha. I was just chrismated on Saturday. Thank God, welcome to the church, Luke. And because you were chrismated in church, I suppose that you will be able to attend Pascha. So thank God for that. Ellie Capudier, what is your opinion of Western Orthodoxy? I'm all for it. Do they have any risky liturgical aspects that could possibly have Western influences, such as creed differences? No, they do not have creed differences, and I suppose you can nitpick till the end with any risky liturgical practices, but I do not think that any of them really matter in the long run. So. Yanis, by whom is the saint canonized? For example, Serbian Russian Church or from all churches in synod? They are canonized by individual synods. So, like a saint who was part of the Greek Church would be canonized by Greek synod. The Serbian saint will be canonized, not baptized, canonized by a Serbian synod, and so on and so forth. Leon Grgic, what do you think of the Dark Souls series? I haven't played it. I love the visual aesthetics of it. It's so dark, but I think it would be a game that whose lore would interest me a whole lot. But sadly, I do not have time for games. The couple of games I mentioned at the beginning of the stream is all I play anymore. I did play Spiritfarer recently. Such a beautiful game, such a waste of money. So, and yes, Heroes 3 is the best game ever, if you never played 2. Stavropos, are you nerdier in Serbia or in English? Definitely in English, because, you know, pop culture references and the geeky shows and everything. Okay, but why does he sound like a separate person in Serbian, though? This is a facade. I'm playing a character. By the way, guys, please subscribe to Western Orthodox Prayers and Devotions. She's terrific. I do not think I can actually post links, but simply search for her. She makes great stuff. Okay, I think I have lost the thread. Oh man, there are so many questions. Okay. I got it. I got this. Marco Nicolau, Bojan, will you have the opportunity to turn on Serbian translation? This is a cancer wound, because I really want to have Serbian translations, and I have them for a number of older videos, but it is so time consuming to translate it and then put it in videos with time. It is so slow, and if I ever make Bible Illustrated my sole source of income, this all of the videos will get Serbian translations. So. Oh, hello, Father George Googe, Scrooge. Sorry. And blessed Holy Week and Pascha for you, Father. Please pray for us. Oh, thank you for the glasses. I think this works really well. I look like those Gary Larson. Is it Gary Larson cartoons? So. Thank you, Chad Libleft. Dobro, ajde, evo, pričat ću na srpskom. Ja sada pričam na srpskom na zahtev mog druga Chada Liblefta. So, I was talking in Serbian on request of my friend Chad Libleft. There. Spiridon, what are your thoughts on the Moscow-Constantinople schism? How does it affect our religion, faith, beliefs as Orthodox? Well, we all bleed, because when one member suffers, we all suffer. But it is a cloud, it will pass, it is sad, but we all should pray for the end of the schism. Basically, I honestly believe that we are all simply playthings in the hands of different secret services, and that is the ultimate cause for the schism, not any theology or whatever. Dave, thank you so much. I will check out St. Anne's. Can you give more specific Greek arts, think about publishing a book with your illustrations. Again, this is in the back of my mind. I really want to, but no time. Again, if I ever make Bible Illustrated my primary source of income, this is one of the first thing coming. So, what is your music taste? All, like, I can listen to a lot of things. It is really song to song specific, whether it's heavy metal, rock, pop, techno, dance. I really like music of the 80s. I love Nightwish is one of my favorite bands, and that's about it. So, Dave, if an Orthodox took Catholic communion and desecrated it, would it be considered desecration of the host Orthodoxy? Just wondering. It really depends on who you ask, but I wouldn't be friends with that person ever until they repent, because you're literally playing with fire. Thank you, Sunny Meadow. Thank you so much. Kalias, is it common in Serbia to ask for your spiritual father's blessing before starting to pray the Psalter? Uh, People do it. Again, some people might not do it. I think it is always better to double check. So, okay. Thank you, Matthew, for that lovely description of that Nordic spell. Thanks. I hated it. Yeah, Father George, I'm going to read. It used to be a practice, to give communion for a while in the Antiochian Archdiocese, but that we would let people take unction home, but we ended that because people were giving it to Catholic relatives. This is precisely what I'm talking about. And this is even actually a very well-meaning approach. But can you imagine what somebody who's not well-meaning would do to communion? Dr. Alexandrius, what is your opinion on the spirituality and tradition of ethnic groups like Cossacks or the Serbs for that matter? A kind of group spirituality is very proud but also kind of uninformed. I think it draws its roots from Slavic paganism, actually, because we are very tribal, we are very led by our customs, but we never, delve too much into them. I think that's about it. Actually, in Serbia, it's sort of common to sort of hear things like, "Well, I'm a believer, but I'm not fanatic. I don't go to church like on Sundays." So that's considered fanaticism in Serbia. No, would an Orthodox clown be unorthodox? Well, if there's anything we can learn from Fools for Christ, no. Okay. Saurforce, have you been to Istanbul? If not, would you want to go, and what would you visit? How would you visit? I've been to Istanbul and I loved it a lot. It is simply one of those cities that you can go infinite number of times, and infinite number of times you would be left speechless. Sadly, I've only been there once. I've been to Turkey a number of times, but Istanbul concretely only once. I simply loved it. Of course, I went to visit the Ecumenical Patriarchate, and I spent actually Pascha there in 2016, for example. In that, it was really funny because I was thinking like, man, how can I visit the Ecumenical Patriarchate for a midnight liturgy? How will I get? And I was like thinking, and then I realized that there's a huge Orthodox church that just 5 minutes from my hotel. It was dedicated to Holy Trinity, and it was very close to the main square. Like, thank God. What do you think about Orthodox people using prayers from other Christian traditions or writing their own prayers to use along with stuff out of prayer books? As for other traditions, these may not necessarily be faulty, but this should be double checked. For example, Salve Regina is it came from Catholicism when the schism was already in full effect. But I don't think there isn't a person in the world who would find any issue with that prayer, especially when chanted, like with that beautiful haunting melody. If you know the prayer, you know which melody I mean. So again, if such a thing is done, again, this needs to be under supervision of a trained professional, i.e. a priest. So as for writing our own prayers, similar thing, but I would suggest that people really pray by the book for quite some time before they dare, especially when writing it down. You know, I'm all for spontaneous prayer, but when you write it down, you're sort of giving it some shape, and you will try to expand on it and so on. So again, some caution would be wouldn't be out of line. George Jean, so should I focus on just reading the New Testament before even touching Orthodox works? No. But remember that Orthodox works are not created equal. Some are for beginners, some are more for advanced. This is where your priest should come in handy, because he should give you some proper guidance at what to read, in what order, and so on. But reading the New Testament, read it 10, 20 times. Like, we should never stop reading the New Testament, especially. Caleb, how should Orthodox respond to people calling them homophobes? With love. Simply, that's not true. I do not hate homosexual people. I'm just helping them become what God intends of them. The same way I hope God does with me what He intends of me. And I do not think that they are any worse sinners than I am. That's simply... Rumia, this may sound really weird, but are there any problematic saints? Yes, I won't go into detail for obvious reasons. But yeah, there are some that are like... Somebody's behind me. I'm not going to turn my head. That's the way to get killed in a horror movie. We're going to end this relatively soon, so I'm going to... Alexei, have you thought about making a Discord server? I do have a Discord server. It is for my patrons of a certain level. You have to check that on my Patreon page. The fact is, I really did not want to have a huge Discord server because it is a time sink, and it is very well for people who want to devote themselves to it, but generally I'm not for making this Bible Illustrated club, you know. Everything I make is public anyway, so... Contracom. Bojan, what is your opinion on Catholicism and Protestantism? Do they go to heaven? I have answered this on my secondary channel, Bible Illustrated Cans. Simply search for do you have to be Orthodox to be saved? I believe that's the video title. Asen Andonov, hi Bojan. Recently we keep getting information that there are attempts to make saints victims of wars. Is that true? Can you elaborate on that? What you mean by that, Asen? Kelomonsophagias. I believe that's not how it is pronounced. King Saldua, did I watch Aaron Ra discussions with Muslims? No, but I did watch them with Michael Jones, and that's my favorite debate ever. Like, I'm petty, what can I say? Monosugas, I cry when I pray. Is that okay? Yes, it is called the gift of tears. It is perfectly fine, but remember that you need to pray even if that gift is removed from you. That's one. And I also remember this elder from the Holy Mountain who said that that he would get tempted by Satan during prayer because the Satan would whisper you, "You're crying during prayer. You're doing fine." So never accept that. Okay, what's the opinion on Dungeons and Dragons? Wasn't there also panic in the Orthodox Church? I haven't heard of it. I don't think I've ever met an Orthodox person who really minded it, so. Oh, thank you so much, Alexei. Thank you so much for the offer. If you want, feel free. Jakub, I'm new to the channel. Are you a priest? No, I'm a reader. So, as far as the ranks go, you have a candlebearer, then you have a reader, which is considered the first actual clerical rank, then a subdeacon, deacon, priest, and then you have a bishop. Oh, Maria, okay. I have a Portuguese fan base. Fancy that. The Tridentius Mass was a hit. Thank you so much. I had so much fun with that video. I really did not want to hurt people with that video, but I really thought it was funny. So again, I apologize in advance. Oh, no, wait, did I? Okay, good. I need to check whether I turned on Wi-Fi because I didn't. This live cast will cost me. Brother Nathaniel, can you perfectly articulate the toll houses without leaving any room for questions? No, that's totally impossible. No, when I'm chrismated this July, should I change my name to Andrew so that my godfather can call me Mandrew, or should I keep my name? I can't think of any funny puns with Noah, so Andrew. Like, whatever, whichever saint you prefer. And then again, I lost the. Okay. Per Aspera ad Astra. Hello, Bojan. Hello, Aspera. What's your opinion on Genesis? Should we take it 100% literal, allegorical, or both? It really depends which part of the Genesis. I do believe that the first part is allegorical, but not like all of it. I do believe in actual literal Adam and Eve and fall and so on. I just don't believe in literal 6 days of creation. I mean, I don't think you can also. I'm not really all that into extremist views, and as in, if you believe this, you're a heretic, or if you believe you're stupid, and so I don't know. Whatever you think it is, discuss this with your spiritual father, like I did this with mine, and go for it. Theodor Perkovsky. Bojan, do you have any relatives in the USA? Came from a town that had a big Serbian population, Pittsburgh, PA. Actually, I do. I have. Oh man, in what state? What state is she in? It's not Nebraska. It's not Nebraska. I can't remember. I have a cousin. I was actually related to her husband. Sadly, he died. He had a heart attack mid drive. He did not make it, sadly, and sadly, he had a heart attack just as they finished buying a house and moving. So she will probably return sometime soon. So pray for the soul of Zoran and Lana, his wife, and my now extended cousin. Also, I have a godmother, Vanya, in New York. She works in the United Nations. Love her a lot. Do I have anyone else? My brother-in-law has some family in Arizona, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I do have some family there. Thank you so much, Kalias. Tina, yeah, I will update you on my sister's progress on Twitter, and thank you all for your prayers. I'm not ending the stream yet. I just want to wrap some things up from the beginning of the stream. And Tina, again, I apologize for leaving out your name in the Patreon section at the end of the video. I will just double check if I did not overlook you by accident. I will double check, but no, from what I can see, you're not here. This was a major whoopsie on my part, so again, I'm so sorry for this. Pax Americana, how they speak such good English. Again, lots of video games with a dictionary, so. Cassette. Hello, how tall are you? I'm a meter and 69 centimeters, which is about 5'6", 5'7", something like that. And what the Orthodox think of the no source of Mass? Personally, I think that the text is good. It just depends on how it's done. Yeah, I think that a lot of Orthodox simply reiterate what lots of threads are saying about no source of Mass. Personally, when done reverently, I like it a lot. I think that the language could be tad more beautiful, theological, and so on. But even in its current form, I do not think it is that bad, if done reverently. So. Ziane, Boyan, forgive me my ignorance, but why is the Orthodox cross different from Catholic and Protestant cross? To be quite honest, I do not know the actual development of the cross. I mean, there is like a tradition that the slanted footrest points to the saved thief and the damned thief. So, but how it developed, I do not know. Mina Farag, hello. Boyan, what's your opinion on Catholic Marian apparitions requesting Christians to pray the rosary or wear the brown scapular? Do you believe in any Marian apparitions, assuming Orthodox ones? You know, that part with Mary asking them to pray the rosary or wear brown scapular, those tend to be the least controversial issues with those visions. They're usually something more problematic. They're like consecrating Russia to the sacred, to the Immaculate Heart, calling herself the Immaculate Conception, and other teachings that the Orthodox do not recognize, and so on. Slowly losing my voice. I apologize. Despite what people may claim, there is an upper limit to how much I can talk. Of course, I do believe in Orthodox Marian apparitions, which are very, how to say, localized and personalized. There aren't any hysterical warnings or anything. So, Riva Roja, well, of course that you're inclined to watch this live stream because you cannot do any other. Ellie Capidar, what is the Orthodox opinion on cremation? No. Just no. Because we believe in the sanctity of body. It should not be artificially destroyed by cremation. It should be left to natural processes, because in a way that is how we confess our belief in resurrection. Of course, there are some winging of the rules because, for example, in Japan, it is nigh impossible to get traditional burial. In some places, cremation is way more cheaper, and sometimes people simply cannot afford the traditional burial. But these should be seen as extreme exceptions, and not even sometimes that, especially when it comes to the price. So. Okay. Internet hard case, is Islam satanic and evil? I generally dislike calling things in such extreme ways, but I do not think it is of God. It may have been initiated by the devil, but when we say Islam is satanic and evil, we might imply that everything that Muslims do or teach is necessarily evil or satanic, which of course I do not believe. So again, this is simply me rarely calling things satanic or evil unless it is extremely glaring. And again, I do not think that Islam is spiritually good for people, even if there are some good sides of it. But in the end, when you compare pros and cons, it's mostly cons. But even if it was mostly good sides, the very fact that it is not Christianity should be an answer enough. So. Okay. Okay, bringing this to a close. How is name calling a Christian practice? Hi, Dario. Hello. Okay, I really did not pay attention to any discussions, so guys, please, if you're arguing, just stop and move on. Hello, Shadow Reader. Long time no see. So happy to see you here. Nathaniel P. Adams, didn't Islam evolve out of a heterodox Gnostic Christian sect? I never really bought that, always sounded. I do think that Muhammad was sort of leveraging his religion to optimize the number of new converts. So, yeah, the kitty pillow. His name is Chaslav. Marco Nicolau, why Orthodox priests and monks wear long hair? It is to symbolize that they're not of this world, because not cutting your hair was an important part of Nazareth vow in the Old Testament. So. Well, I think I have actually reached Stefan Čiča. Kad je liturgija sutra na Gardošu? U 5. U 5 je liturgija. Možda dođe. Well, guys, this is sadly the first time we had an argument in the chat. And sadly, I do not have an admin. Sadly, I will have to get one. So, sucks, but it is simply the things of the internet. Thank you all for stopping by. I'm glad that I had all the bases covered. The next live stream will be in about 8 videos on the main channel, so keep it counting. And there are many people who say the sinner's prayer but are baptized in water but continue living in sin. Apparently they were not born again from the Spirit. Yeah, but the apostle also says that whoever says that he has no sin, he's a liar. So, okay, Cassette, we'll keep you in mind. I'm just going to see whether the next live stream goes well. I'll keep you in mind also, brother, but Cassette he has presence. Thank you all, guys, so much. Again, please keep my sister in your prayers. What do you think about Orthodox who become Catholic? I've seen quite a lot of these. Is it worrying? Well, no, I don't think it is, because these conversions to and from Catholicism and Orthodoxy happen on regular basis. So, John Allen, Bojan, please do a video on St. John Maximovic. I plan to, but again, so little time. I plan to make it eventually. So, I hope to make it. Oh, sorry. I accidentally started Adam. Okay. A friend of mine was calling me out for my spelling, which is admittedly atrocious. What tea? It's just a mint tea. Nothing. Hi, Icing Routine. Da, dobro sam. Thoughts on Westboro Church? Well, you said yourself. I'm not sure you can call that a church anymore. Boyan, what do I think about the Pope? Like the office or the man? The man, both good and bad stuff, you know. I think he's sort of a bit of a people pleaser, but sometimes he knows to stomp his foot when it's really needed, so. Okay, guys, I have to go. Again, thank you all so much for coming here. Again, see you in some 8 videos on the main channel. What do you think about the sedevacantists? Just become Orthodox already. We all know you want to. That's about it. Okay, spirit of modernity. Pray fast and have overfilled schedule. That is one of the big things. Like have your schedule piled up so you literally don't have time for last, because it's such a waste of time. Is there any good books about resurrection miracles? Not that I have any idea. But yeah, bye guys. I really need to cut this short because questions keep coming. Okay, where did I end this? Bye and blessed Holy Week to all of you, and let us all enjoy and grace celebrate the resurrection of our Lord God and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen.